The ocean was calm that morning, too calm for what was about to unfold. In international waters, far from any coastline but dangerously close to political fault lines, a U.S. aircraft carrier strike group moved steadily through the Caribbean Sea. No alarms, no alerts, just routine operations under a rising sun. Then the radar picture changed. At first, it looked insignificant. 2 fast-moving contacts at long range. Nothing unusual. The skies over international waters are rarely empty, but within seconds, speed, altitude, and heading told a different story. These aircraft weren't transiting. They were approaching. Fast. On the carrier's flight deck, sailors paused. Not because they were told to, but because experience teaches you when something doesn't feel right. The sound came next. A distant, growing roar that cut through the quiet like a blade. Out of the morning haze, 2 Venezuelan military jets dropped low over the water. Shockingly low. Close enough that the heat from their engines distorted the air behind them. No radio contact, no warning, no explanation. They crossed directly in front of the carrier's bow. It wasn't an accident. It was a message. But at sea, messages can be misunderstood, and misunderstandings can spiral into disasters. From the bridge, the carrier's commanding officer didn't raise his voice. He didn't react at all. He simply watched. Maintain course. That single order set the tone for everything that followed. The jets climbed sharply, pulling aggressive maneuvers designed to be seen, recorded, and felt. It was aerial theater, the kind meant to provoke a response, to force a reaction, to test resolve. Below deck, in the Combat Information Center, the scene was very different. There was no drama, no shouting, only data. Infrared feeds confirmed what radar already suggested. The aircraft were armed for show, not for war. Their hardpoints were empty. Their maneuvers were risky, but calculated. This wasn't an attack. It was intimidation. And intimidation only works if the other side flinches. For a moment, the jets turned away, heading back toward their coast. Tension eased. Some believed the incident was over. They were wrong. Moments later, new contacts appeared. Then another. 4 aircraft now, all inbound. No identification response, no acknowledgement of international airspace. That's when procedures shifted quietly into a higher gear. On deck, 2 American fighter jets were readied for launch. There was no rush, no panic. Every motion followed muscle memory built through years of training. The catapult fired. The fighters climbed hard into the sky, angling toward the unknown. Their mission wasn't to fight. It was to observe, to identify, and above all, to prevent escalation. The carrier below never changed course. That wasn't stubbornness. It was doctrine. U.S. carriers do not maneuver for intimidation. Turning away would have sent the wrong signal, not just to those jets, but to every military watching from afar. As the fighters closed in, they confirmed visual contact. Venezuelan aircraft, tight formation, aggressive posture. Rules of engagement were clear, defensive only. What happened next pushed those rules to their limits. The foreign jets cut sharply across the American fighters' flight paths, dangerously close. Close enough to trigger proximity warnings. Close enough that a minor miscalculation would have meant mid-air collision. Every sensor on the carrier tracked the movement in real time, every angle, every second. This wasn't reckless flying. This was bait. The American pilots didn't bite. They held position. They matched speed. They recorded everything. Below, defensive weapons tracked automatically. Systems capable of firing faster than human reaction time were locked and ready, but silent. The carrier continued forward, steady and unmoved. Then came the most dangerous moment. One of the foreign jets rolled inverted and dove straight toward the strike group. Low altitude, high speed, no margin for error. From the deck, it looked suicidal. From the systems below, it looked like a threat. Weapons tracked, sensors locked. Final authorization rested on a single decision. It never came. The jet roared past, missing American aircraft by hundreds of feet. A near miss that sent shockwaves across the water and through every command center watching live feeds. 10 seconds passed. Nothing fired. Then, slowly, the jets pulled away. The sky returned to quiet. But the incident wasn't over. As the aircraft retreated, one final act remained, a brief targeting radar pulse directed at the carrier group. Short, deliberate, meant to be detected. It was logged, analyzed, ignored. The carrier never altered course, not once. Later that day, state media told a very different story. Footage aired, claiming the American ship had been forced to retreat. That national airspace had been defended. That strength had been shown. But satellites, radar logs, and flight data told another story. Inside military analysis rooms thousands of miles away, the footage was replayed frame by frame. What they saw wasn't a victory. It was a warning. Not of strength, of risk. These kinds of encounters live in the gray zone between peace and conflict, designed to test reactions, to push boundaries without crossing lines. But the line is thin. One nervous pilot, one delayed command, one misunderstood maneuver. That's all it takes to turn a flyby into a crisis. The real story of that morning isn't about jets or ships. It's about restraint, about the power to do nothing when everything is telling you to act. Because real military strength isn't measured by how fast you pull the trigger, but by knowing when not to. The foreign jets wanted attention. The carrier answered with silence. And that silence echoed far louder than any weapon ever could. So ask yourself this. If you were in that cockpit, watching another aircraft dive toward you at full speed, what would you do? Would you trust discipline? Or choose survival in the moment? Because sometimes the most dangerous decision is the one you don't make.